Welcome to episode 5 of The Anxious Rambler. We're back on the road again. This time we're talking about the war on drugs. I would be remiss to say if this wasn't a little bit biased since it's our favorite band, but we're going to see them back-to-back nights. And we had an idea. They have a new album that just came out called Live Drugs Again. And it's a compilation of live songs from other venues, from various venues, right? So traditionally, I'd say like a live album would come from one concert, but they have compiled this from many different concerts over multiple years and across the world. And so my challenge to you was to create your own version of this from across any YouTube videos, internet archive, wherever you wanted to go, and create your own set list. But let's start out. I want to throw it to you to talk a little bit about the Live Drugs Again album, the artwork in it. I know you got to take that apart. This is a kind of more limited edition. You didn't get the blue vinyl. I know.
I was sad.
Yeah.
But not as sad as
it still sounds
think.
Great. No, it still sounds great. That's the important part.
I'm just grateful to have anything and to have the entire catalog thus far. Plus, I have a few multiple copies. I have some that I haven't opened yet.
Oh yeah, I know.
And that some specifically for frames, album frames, so that I don't have to take them apart, backups, etc. Yeah, it was great timing for the arrival of the album and for it to be dropped, as it was like a week before we leave, and got me very excited, as if I wasn't before. But sometimes I get wrapped up in work, and that makes it even more exciting sometimes because I get so out of the zone or blinded to the things around me that I enjoy. So when I put that on, was it Friday morning?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I sent you a text. It was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds into Harmonia's Dream. I was already crying. So
yeah,
needless to say,
what about
it
that?
Was effective.
So song 1 on the new Live Drugs Again. Well, okay, first talk about the unboxing experience. What'd you like about the cover art, the way that the letters are blocked, that type of stuff in the album? They're going to do a CD later too. It's obviously on iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. I liked the iTunes graphic has like the color drains out of it. It's kind of cool.
I like the artwork. It's really simple, but effective. To me, it kind of looks like graphics on a well-worn t-shirt from 1992. That's what it made me think of.
Definitely.
Yeah. Simple but effective.
I agree.
I told you that I would be at a loss for words, probably, some of this podcast, so that I don't use the same descriptors other than I love it. I love them. I love them so much. I love it all.
Oh, no, not already.
But I always in some of the other albums, we get like candid photos from the experience of the making of the albums or the live shows.
They seem to all really relish taking pictures and posting them from the road, usually like old school like Polaroid type cameras or just with like some nice gauzy effects to them. And they had some good just like live candid shots of the band. And I mean, I don't know if they went for this, but I sort of felt like they were having a ton of fun with these songs live. I mean, they always sound great live, but there was like an exuberance. Even the first track that they released from this a couple of weeks ago is Burning. And the way that he emphasized the words in there, I thought that was really great and different than I'd heard it before. And so I pointed that out to you. I thought,
yeah, that's all really exciting for me to get some little extras added in to an album because, as you know, I'm sentimental with things that have been important to me throughout my life, and I save everything, borderline trying not to be a hoarder. But a few months ago, I think it was, I had pulled out a box of things that I had on my walls when I was in college, and they were from magazines that I would order. It was NME was not available in the United States at that time. Maybe could have gotten it at Barnes and Noble maybe. I can't remember. It might have been later, but
they always had the British version too. Those were even harder to find.
So I believe it was around 2003 that I got a subscription to it. But I would take apart those magazines, NME, Spin Magazine, and Rolling Stone, especially if my favorite. I was very into a lot of the bands that were really popular in the UK, 2003, 4, 5. So almost every magazine, NME magazine I got became part of my walls. But I got into that box and showed you all of those big photographs and posters that are still in, mint condition. So I really appreciate getting an album from a band that has all of those extra things in there, keepsakes and memorabilia.
And a poster. All right, well, let's listen.
I got a patch with one of the
You did?
albums.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I know. I'm very jealous of that
I'm sewing that
still.
on my jean jacket.
I know. Your ultimate jean jacket. All right, let's listen to a little bit of Harmonia's Dream, your first track here on your Live Drugs again.
Running and returning. In a vision, you're a ghost in black and white, a silhouette in blue and green. I lay awake at night and wait for you to come. Been hanging on so hard, now I can't let go. I'm in a rolling wave that moves across the line. Am I losing my faith?
That's such a great song. I think you're tearing up now, like you were when you sent it to me. Love. That exemplifies a lot of what I love about this band. Why did you pick that one?
Well, let me first say that I told you several times this might be one of the meanest ideas.
Yes, I know. You were very upset at me.
Because it feels cruel to try and pick a set list. And then also to say, I can't just pick the songs, but I have to pick a particular live version because there are so many options and probably some that I haven't heard. And how do you choose one over the other? I didn't find a lot of examples of Harmonia's Dream. I don't know that you can beat the version on the Live Drugs.
Yeah, I did have you not pick that one. That's
I have to pick
in your defense, you wanted that one, that version, and it is great. Yeah,
this version is from June 3rd, 2023, Primavera Sound.
Oh, okay.
Barcelona.
Nice. Okay.
Which, of course, the album isn't super old, so it wouldn't be too far back. I think there is a good mix of his vocals are clear and upfront and smooth, but the band is also, there are some songs I think I chose where the band is always really tight and plays really big and really well together, but definitely there are certain songs where the way the band sounds together sounds so big and powerful. But I think this version of it gave me sort of that same feeling as the Live Drugs Again version.
Yeah,
with the song, the first lyric, I can't escape this memory. What a great...
I know. Great.
What a great line.
Great opening line. I on the nerdier side, I watched some of their gear videos, and they have some new or newish gear that helps keep things synchronized. Because it's so hard as your band grows and the stage is not set up in a round or anything ideal for you to be looking at your bandmates. So they have little electronic gear that helps them kind of sync up a little bit better on some of these songs. I'm not sure if this is one of those, but it was interesting to hear about how they're using technology to keep the band tight while also having this kind of ability to jam out a little bit like they did on this.
I'll also add that you wanted me to have 12 songs, then you said 13, and I told you that I started with 23 and had an anxiety attack. I got it down to 18 and ended with, did I end with 17 or 18?
I wanted 11 like they do on Live Drugs Again.
But that's only an hour.
I gave you 13 and you ended up with 17. Is that right?
Here's why. Because they are headlining and playing a 2 to 2.5 hour show.
Right, this
at
version.
My dream concert. And definitely. I also did the set list in the order that I would like to hear the songs as well.
And we'll post the YouTube set list, of course, that she's got. But do you want to go to the next track then, or do you want to pick another track to go to next?
Yeah, no, I think do them in order. So song number 2 is Arms Like Boulders from the Landmark Music Festival, September 26, 2015.
Very memorable for us.
Yes.
You were there.
One of my favorite, maybe overall most memorable favorite. The environment, that festival in general was a little bit of a disorganized mess.
More than a little bit. They never did it again, because it was such a mess. But
yeah.
But it was a great. I had a great time. It was like
temperature was perfect.
Exactly.
There was a breeze. It was outside. It was toward the end of the night, right as the sun went down.
Yeah.
It was super breezy. And it started to rain. And what girl wants to be stuck in the rain at a music festival? But my God, it was so perfect. Yeah. I just opened my arms and embraced the rain. And it seemed like when it started to rain, which I believe it may have during this song, there were different parts of their set where it rained a little bit harder. And it felt like their music was bringing down the rain. I think to Red Eyes and this one, it just during different guitar solos, you can see in videos and even the official video of their set where the rain just comes down so hard. And there's something about the rain that I don't know why I feel like they play insanely well at an outdoor concert when it rains. There's a few other ones that
looked like rain too.
I was blown away at the sound, and then I was like, holy shit, it's raining. What is it with them in the rain?
Well, that's amazing. Well, this is the one I would have picked too. I actually have one that you kid me about repeating that would be on my set list. They do a version of this at Bonnaroo. What was it, 2015? And they kick off the set with this. But we've seen them kick off the set with this song too, and I think it's just it's an old school one for old school fans. But even if you've never heard them before, it's just a fun song very melodic. The drums are great in it, so super awesome. Let's listen to a little bit.
So the next track I would like to hear at my concert would be Ocean in Between the Waves. The version I chose is, I'm not sure that I'm saying it right. It's from 2020 Fun from Rock Palast.
Sure.
It is
you can be forgiven.
On,
all these are available on YouTube. Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Again, a song that when the band really takes off and rocks out and gets tight, it begins to rain.
Do you want to talk about them not being beer rock, since you last night identified
I figured out who it was.
who Anna, if anyone hasn't listened to The Road to Incubus part 2, Anna withheld the musician who dared to call the War on Drugs beer rock. Not that, that's even the worst
Do you want me to
thing
throw
in the world.
under the bus?
I mean, it's up to you. I just wanted to tease you about that,
I'll just
you went ahead
say
and did find out who it was.
Yeah, well, are we sure this is the guy
Yeah.
that's throwing some shade at my favorite band?
Okay, we get your tone.
I'm just saying.
We get your tone.
I don't even know who
Confirmed.
he is.
I know.
So that's all that needs to be said about it.
But this song, I think, is the thing I like about the way that they rock, and I think that elevates them out of a cluster of bands.
The build up in this song, I meant to say earlier, the build up is fantastic and legendary.
Yeah, the musicianship and the layers, right? That's the difference between them and a band, right? There are a lot of talented players, and I'm sure they would say the same thing. But the way that their sounds come together and that the soundscapes build on each other is what makes the song special. Along with, of course, Adam's melodies and the lyricism. So there's no doubt about it. Talk to me a little bit about Coming Through. That's the next song.
That's a special one too. I'll try not to use that word as a descriptor for every song, but definitely
this one's a landmark too. You realize
it is. I chose it particularly because it was
This might have been where the rain started coming down.
It did. This is the most memorable moment of their set for me at Landmark.
Okay.
This version of Coming Through, of all live songs across decades of music and live shows that I've seen, is probably one of my absolute favorite sounds. The way I would describe that this song feels live is something about that guitar tone and I guess the reverb that I love.
You do love the reverb.
The tone of that lead guitar is so big, even though it's outdoors, and it goes in your ears and tickles the inside of your ears, travels down your neck, hits your shoulders a little bit, and then you just feel this big burst coming out of your chest. Like it's a familiar feeling that you felt this pure joy and elation and happiness before. It's such a great song. It's one of the first group of songs, first albums that I really got into with the War on Drugs back around 2011. And it just rocks.
Let's listen to it.
It's not long enough.
Yeah, let's listen to a little bit of it.
From Lady Love, I fell in line with a racketeer, head to toe. But in the darkest point of night, yeah, you know I want you to be here like before, coming through.
Can we talk about Charlie? If anybody watches this video after this, Charlie is quite a character. He gets shouted out. Of course, the whole band gets shouted out on Live Drugs again. But Charlie, for his characteristic, I don't know if you'd call him just like drummer antics. Like it's funny because obviously lead men have kind of their own personas. We just talked about Brandon Boyd and his sort of flowy Tai Chi. I think you guys used that was really great. Yeah, she nailed that. And of course, Adam and some of the other guys have their moves, but Charlie has his own just vibe back there.
He does. He's in his own world at moments, which a lot of drummers are, but also seems to have his moments with the rest of the band, but seems to just enjoy what he's doing and is really into it. And I always love the faces of drummers when they're getting their build up or having like a drum fill or something, and big smile. He reminds me of like a big friendly panther sometimes, that big smile that he makes. Just a lovable cat.
A big friendly panther.
I don't know why. Something about Dave Grohl has that look too, where
a little bit,
like big smile and sort of like sparkly, kind of like shisty, playful eyes. And
okay, I like it. All right, next song is "In Chains." What you got on "In Chains"? This is one of my favorites. When this album first came out, I was really into this song, and I remember seeing this live for the first time. Super fun song. But what about this one? And why here in the set list? I was curious before we started. I read off the set list why you placed things where you did.
Right. So I feel a lot of emotion to just about every one of the War on Drugs songs. Some of the songs like Coming Through Rocks, Burning Rocks, a lot of the songs start a little bit slow and emotional and then pick up bigger and rock out. But I go through such a range of emotions listening to the War on Drugs. Lyrically, I really connect with the thoughts to the paper, to the microphone, and the musicianship and instrumentation does so much justice and brings to life the words as well. And I think I explained to you some of the placement, how I ended the show as well, that it rocked a little bit more than a more chill, lengthy song. And if I truly got to pick the entire set list, the emotion that went into these decisions, I need to stay in that emotion. Otherwise, I might have a mental breakdown. So I can't go from, one that, makes me emotional or brings back kind of a tough memory and puts me in that feeling and then pulls me back out to fist pump, throw my arms around. So I need a set of 2 or 3 that give me the same emotion so that I'm not up and down so much.
All right, here we go on this one. Did he just say fleeting rain? Is that how you... I mean, that's a great word to describe the rain you were talking about earlier. That's fantastic. Great song. Absolutely fantastic song. Speaking of rain, maybe that's the theme of this. The next song up is...
Occasional Rain. So if you would have seen me during In Chains, you would understand why I have to group together with another song. Get very emotional sometimes, happy emotions, but the music really does mean a lot to me. So, Occasional Rain is grouped in with In Chains. This is a beautiful song, a song that also means a lot to Aaron.
Definitely.
Lyrically.
Yeah, love the last song. So the way that he describes it, of course, is like the line is, ain't the sky just shades of gray until you've seen it from the other side. It's just a great, and then he leads out with it's only some occasional rain. And it's just a beautiful way to see the world. talked about cutting songs from this list and how I was challenging you to do this. They didn't put this on Live Drugs Again. That must have been a challenging song to cut. And I think when you're coming up with an album, you want to give people a taste of what it's like, of course, and then you want them to go to the concerts. And that's what we want everyone to do, is go see these guys live so that they can see all of them, because they are a band that has a huge catalog at this point and will definitely change up songs from night to night. I have no doubt that we will hear different songs Saturday and Sunday, which I'm excited about because it's going to be great both times. But the change up's always a lot of fun. Take us to the next song. You're feeling a little pressure over there.
Well, thank you for taking that one. I couldn't speak during it. Need a tissue. Okay. Right. So because of the deep emotions that In Chains and Occasional Rain bring,
I got you on there, huh?
We've got to take it back up with Under the Pressure.
We had a funny moment with this. Who is there's on YouTube, the guitarist that I had you watch him.
Yeah, he does.
So he had never heard it before.
Is that what he does?
Yeah.
Songs that he has not heard.
Yeah, and he kind of
before
like
and breaks
evaluates them as like a guitar.
Oh,
you know,
you were
teacher, basically.
very excited and came and got me. And
Yeah.
said,
It
you've got to hear the way this guy literally explains this song the way that you explain it.
Yes. I might have to cut in some of his explanation because it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And again, always enjoyable to put yourself in the place of someone who's never heard this band before and remember what it was like to hear them. It was great hearing Anna explain them. So again, in the last episode, she talks about going to the Metro and seeing them and just like, holy cow, or whatever she said.
It blew her mind.
Blew her mind. That's what it was. Good memory right there.
Yeah. The way the saxophone comes in on this one and the long, is it a bridge?
So you love the build up.
I love the build up and then getting the crowd into it with the hand claps, but the saxophone is so much fun in this one.
You want the sax like would it be like an interlude, you think?
Oh, interlude. I knew I should have done my research on terminology.
All right, here we go.
Regardless what type of music you're into, but sometimes you just want the vibe, you know?
Another thing I love about, before we go on to the next song, Under the Pressure is a great example of a song that has an impactful message, and it can be interpreted. I like to tease that albums have lined up with particular eras of my life and something that I've gone through that I feel like that particular album, the year that it's released, really helps tell a story as well. And songs like Under the Pressure that have a deep meaning to the lyrics and really tell a story. The name of the song is Under the Pressure, but the music is fun, but it's powerful as well. So not all of the songs have to, even though there's emotion behind the lyrics or your interpretation of the lyrics, that it's not everything has to be sad or think about loss or stress, that it can also be powerful and boost your excitement.
Well, he seemed to use
forward.
this album, because this is Lost in the Dream, and the pressure that he was feeling to create something amazing. And that's such the yin and yang of the creative process, or maybe just life on earth, right? It just happens that he's able to express himself in a way a lot of people aren't. But I think we all can connect with what he was experiencing during that time, certainly on some level.
Right. So because that one, I said I grouped a few songs together that evoked similar emotions. We jumped from In Chains and Occasional Rain to Under the Pressure, but that song is so big and brings you up to such an exciting level. It's okay to take it down just a little bit. So the next song is Pain, and kind of similarly to Under the Pressure, with a title like Pain, you may be thinking and lyrically listening to it that there might be a bit of a sad message to it, but the song also, the instrumentation of it also evokes a feeling of sort of like a release of your breath, breath.
A lot
Release
of space
of
in
a
this
breath.
one.
Yes, like a sigh of, feeling pain, but
Watch out for the microphone there.
Did I hit it?
No, you released
I blew it.
You released your breath.
That's
into
what
the
pain does. It's a release.
Tell me about why this version of it. So we could probably have picked an entire set list from concerts that we had been through. I would encourage anyone to check out the Internet Archive too, because there's a ton of live sets on there, and buy their new album too. By all means, I want everyone to do that first and foremost. But why this version? Tell us about where we were at this moment in time and space.
Yeah, this version is from Vet's Aid in San Diego on November 11th, 2023. And oh no. So we were at this show. We were at Vet's Aid, and we're very excited that the war on drugs were a part of this important festival that goes to benefit veterans of foreign wars. And we had seen the war on drugs multiple times a year from 2014 through 2017 or 18, I think.
Yeah.
And then we're not able to see them for a handful of years, which destroyed me for various reasons. I mean, some they weren't touring or were recording an album or were touring overseas. And COVID happened, and I was going through a challenging time with my mental health and sort of rebuilding off of that. So I think for almost a year, all I had talked about that when I was ready to go back out into the world, the first thing I wanted to do was go see the war on drugs. So we got to see them. This was one of the first concerts that I had gone to when I had felt good to get out there and travel again. And that feeling of them walking out on stage, and we had great seats, I think like third row from the stage.
Incredible.
And it was a feeling of excitement and joy, and it wasn't sadness, but so much emotion and gratefulness that, this was a song that I wanted on the playlist, but I definitely wanted to pay tribute to that particular show because it meant a whole lot to me, and I think both of us.
Definitely. It was an incredible
And what a
time.
song, Pain, too.
I know.
I mean,
and the least painful trip besides the beginning of it, where we missed our initial flight, but we rolled with the punches and made it there.
we did.
I remember this next song, "Strangest Thing," seeing it in Columbus, where we're about to stay on Friday, Saturday. And I wanted to see this one bad. And initially, off this album, this was my favorite favorite song from this album. So I remember seeing this live and really enjoyed it.
And we had heard it was spring of 2017.
I think so.
And they had released maybe 2 or 3 songs. And I remember driving out to work. I own a doggy daycare, and to do last outings, like the last visit of the night. Mm-hmm. And that spring air was coming in, and I love nothing more than driving at night with the windows down when the cool air comes in. And this is the most perfect sounding song for a cool breeze with all the windows down and taking a long drive and just thinking about all of the wonderful and peaceful things in your life and looking forward to something or looking back on something. So
I agree.
This song's beautiful.
Great song to take a breath on for sure. Let's go to one of the newer songs from the new album, probably the lead single from it and the title track, "I Don't Live Here Anymore." So why this song? Why this version?
I may have talked about this song and the significance of it in an earlier podcast, but referring to the time that I did when we went to Vets Aid in San Diego in 2023, I think everybody in their life, you have those moments, or maybe eras, as I referred to them, in your life where you'll have a traumatic experience, or you'll lose someone, or you have health issues or mental health issues, or people that come in and out of your life, or various types of pain that can affect you for more than just a day or a week or a month or sometimes even a year. And the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020 was a really hard time for me. And when things really started to pick up and I was really sort of changing the story a little bit, of being able to tell my own story as opposed to letting others tell that story for me. And part of the things I really struggled with and have mentioned is we do live in the town that I am from and grew up in. And we moved around and lived in different places for a while, and just jobs and wanting to have easier accessibility to family brought us to this area. And it's a tough thing to live in a small town where everyone knows everyone or thinks they know everyone. And I am grateful for family here. I'm grateful for the childhood I had, but it definitely wasn't always a healthy headspace for me as an adult, and just the different type of life that I've had compared to other people of my age, or that I grew up with or was friends with. So one of the things I really had to figure out was how to be the best version of myself in a place that I felt like didn't accept me, or that I maybe physically didn't care to live. And the single, I Don't Live Here Anymore, came out, and Aaron told me they just released it and played it. And I said, is this called I Don't Live Here Anymore? And then I eventually got it tattooed down my spine. So
it's there.
You can physically be somewhere, and I feel like I get that from the song, but I mentally don't live in this space anymore. I'm in a better place, whether it was, and there are good parts of your past that you can take with you, and everything good and bad that happens is a part of your story. If it was a bad thing that happened, it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
No, I think you can turn the page on a place too. I read a book a long time ago about different ways to travel, right? You can travel all over the world, or you can travel over just one piece of ground and look at it differently, slowly observing the different parts of it and how it changes it during different times. And sometimes you just aren't able to see the way a place has changed, or to change it for yourself. And I think that's what you've really done, to change the place for yourself and take some ownership back of a place that's lovely too.
One of the things that really helped me too was people that maybe I hurt and didn't realize I hurt because of what I was going through, and people that really hurt me. And I'll stop there. But that though you don't have to completely block out and try to forget about those people. They're not part of your next chapter. And whatever point in time that was, that there was pain between you and that other person or other people, it's just what it is. It was a moment in time, but all of those memories that you had with them that were so much fun, those don't have to be bad or negative, or you don't have to look back on those with regret. And I realized that I actually got a tattoo with someone, Amor Fati, under it, which means that all parts of your journey, whether good or bad, have led you to where you are today, and to hold on to even the bad parts, because those can be happy memories as well.
That's pretty great. Low Moon, I noticed, is in this version that you picked, which is
Love
on the backing, and they are the opening band this weekend. They've got a new single that Adam plays on called "Old Tape," which is pretty great. He sounds great on the guitar. It kind of flips the script and sings backing vocals for them on that. It's really fun. You can hear his guitar. He has definitely, for me, developed a signature guitar sound, which is probably one of the hardest things to do in rock and roll, to have your own guitar sound.
There's only a few guitar players that I can think of that exactly who they are. When you're listening to the Beatles, you know the part that's George Harrison, you know the part that's John Lennon, and well, I can't mistake them. I know Jack White's guitar sound.
Oh my gosh, definitely.
And Adam has that as well, which is a huge thing. And kudos to you, Adam, as if you'll ever hear this.
That's great.
And if you do, I'm so sorry for being such a sappy fan.
All right, go to the next one. You've got Burning from that aforementioned Bonnaroo.
2015.
Yeah, so I had talked about the first song from that concert, but they go to this as their second song. So why this version?
We've always loved Burning. A few shows that we saw, they opened with Burning.
Definitely.
I think Arms Like Boulders and Burning
could kind of flip-flop those two.
Flip-flopped when we were going to a few of them. Burning is fun. Adam sounds like he's having so much fun singing it and playing. And again, the band together, always on the albums and live, have always sounded good. But this is one of those songs, I think, where you really notice, especially over time in seeing them live, how strong and tight they are together, and they make each other better too. So to have a band that stayed together for, even if it's sometimes touring bands, people flow in and out, but to have a group of guys that make each other better, and I can't imagine hearing with anyone else.
Yeah, this is again the one that they first released on their new album that just came out, and sings it with such passion, but he does here too. So let's listen to a little bit of this one. I'll let you lead in on the next song, because this could be an hour podcast onto itself. I have to tell a quick story before you go, but it'll be pretty funny.
How you been? You looking better. You tried to change your burning road until you realize you're up against. I spent all those nights just trying to take you in, but you released me again. Cross the bridge to redefine your pain. 'Cause the answer's in your heart. Wide awake to redefine the way. Listen in the dark, dreaming, started.
So the next song that we're going to is Brothers. Cassie actually had a playlist with just this song on it. I don't know how many versions you
It
had
was
at
like
one point,
8
but it was amazing.
versions,
I was
and
like
the title of the playlist was "Brothers Get Me Through."
surprised even me that you found that many and compiled them, but that's pretty great. So tell us a little bit about why this song. What about it?
This version of Brothers, I was really upset to try and decide which of the live versions of Brothers. This is my favorite song by the War on Drugs, and my favorite version is from Future Weather, and it's a little bit more stripped down and, would you say, less like studio production, or it's a little bit more raw in the ear.
Yeah, they had a style change, I think, from like Future Weather to Slave On Beyond that was kind of, I don't know what the choices were about it, but maybe it was a little of the Kurt Weill shift,
so.
because he was in the band during that time, right? And
I
so
think I even said that you. He could have even.
I almost pick up on a little bit of his vibe,
style.
a little bit, or a mixture of their two personalities. And I think
had
Slave.
to do that when I got my new headphones.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, listen,
Yeah.
is that Adam or is that Kurt? Is that both of them,
Right.
or do they sing more similarly? And it's
Yeah.
just Adam. I couldn't tell, but it gave me chills.
Yeah, but
those
Slave On Beyond,
headphones.
it feels like Adam owns the band.
Yeah, Slave On
his
Beyond
own.
is, that album means a lot to me too, because that's when they really became big and important and began to mean a lot to me. But the Future Weather version of Brothers, I have always really loved. Adam's voice is really, how have I explained that before? Really, there's an almost like an innocence to it as well.
His inflection in it, yeah.
Yeah.
He's very emotive when he sings this one.
Yes, I love this song. I love the lyrics to this song. I love the feeling that this song gives me. It always gives me a feeling of nostalgia, even if I don't know what I'm feeling nostalgic about. It just has that quality to it. And then also that, of course, just that feeling of just wanting to be happy and free and stand with your arms out.
You could drive
to
with the
wind.
windows down to this one too.
Oh,
right?
I have thousands of times.
Thousands of times.
And I had wanted a tattoo related to what this song meant to me, but trying to come up with a visual for the Brothers lyrics. And I think the feeling in my heart that this song gives me, as well as some of the lyrics, I did get a tattoo in July it's an anatomical heart with fire coming out of it. So
Fire in your
down
heart.
like the fire in my heart. That's
wonderful.
That's my brother's tattoo.
Love it. All right, let's go to the next one. This one is on the new album as well. I was surprised, maybe a little surprised by this choice. I'm sure we might have heard this one, and not that I don't love it, but I was just kind of, it was a cool addition to this album to have an old school song.
This is one of my favorite War on Drugs song too, especially live. I think it's a surprise, and it makes me feel like one of the OG fans too, because I know it when this has a feeling of an anthem to me, that people are just sort of standing still but kind of doing the like
more like a U2
the fist hit on your heart, listening to it.
Lead me back to the place I'm from, past the falls and debris. You can see from the highlands as you roll along the range. On the look for a quiet place, it's not far off the range. Lead me back to the one I love, it's not far, it's on the way. I'm just rambling.
So you've got one more song before your encore. What song did you pick to wrap the first part or the end of this set?
So I continued with Taking It Back for the fans who have maybe been there since earlier days, and I wanted to end the set before the encore with Baby Missiles.
Nice. Great intro to this one too. Ton of energy. I think one of the things that you talked about before was capturing different moments in a concert, and I think pacing is so important. And this one has a great like vibe, walk off vibe to it, right? Just so much excitement. Let's listen to a little bit of it. All right, we're back for the encore. What's the first song that you're going for? Oh wait,
Well, he said it. He introduced it.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
Why this song for your first encore song?
This is a song that if you haven't even heard the War on Drugs or seen them live before, you could have never heard this song, and I think you would immediately be a fan and be blown away by the feeling that a song like this evokes. And we of course knew this song when the album came out, but we saw them at the Vogue in Indianapolis in June or July.
I think that was like
2014.
My birthday. Yeah.
And that was one of the first times that we both, I think, were sort of like jaw dropped at just what a feeling this gives you live, how good it sounds. And I think it's a good way to start the encore. You ended on Baby Missiles. You're excited, you fired up, you're a little sweaty, and you're waiting for them to come back out for the encore. Yeah. And sometimes when I like ending on an exciting song, but sometimes it's so exciting you can't take it all in because you're just jumping around and so happy. But then sometimes when you get as emotional as I do, you're left with a feeling of wanting more and needing more because you're so emotional. So I chose a song like Baby Missiles to end the set, but then to come back out and you're taking a breath and sort of coming back in to the moment. And it's a song that you can look around and take in everything around you and appreciate the moment and where you are and what the song's about for you personally. So this starts off the encore.
I love it. Feels like this is destined to be in a movie, and I mean that in the best way. I just feel like this sets a tone and a mood in a wonderful and amazing way. You can't listen to this and not have a certain vibe, right?
Right.
All right, what do you got next for the second encore? You got 3 encore songs. I love that.
I don't think I've ever heard this song live. If we did, it might have been the very first time we saw them.
Maybe in Cincinnati?
Maybe.
Could be.
This is Best Night. We said it together.
Yeah.
This song, another one of those songs that evokes a feeling where I find it hard to catch my breath while I'm listening to it.
Interesting.
This song was in rotation for me during another really hard time in very early 2014. So basically from like 2011 to 2014, I don't think I listened to anything but the war on drugs almost, which not a lot has changed. But we were having a hard time trying to start our family, and I was having some fertility issues. We had a dog that was still very young, but was my dog before our relationship and had moved around and traveled with me, and I had a miscarriage and had put a lot into loving on our dogs at that time, and I used to go for walks with our dog Charlie, and Charlie was diagnosed with a super rare form of cancer that was not treatable, so I would listen to this song and sing it to him.
That's such a great moment, and I think they wrap up a lot of moments. I think you always wish for a band to find a band that is going to be the one that you follow around. I mean, I always remember growing up in like the Deadheads, and you have the Fish Heads and all these people who follow a band around for their whole lives. And to have found that one is just such a cool opportunity that it has tied into a lot of great moments, a lot of tough moments, but really feels like life. Like their music feels like a heartbeat for us, or a through line through a lot of things, and just have a blast every time that we listen to them live and see them live. So I can't wait to do it again. That brings us to your last song. So you go out with a banger for this reason. You're tearing up over there. So you didn't want to walk out on that, even though it's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with feeling those feelings. That's how you get through, is being able to process those through music sometimes. But what's the last song that you wanted to lead out on your ultimate concert?
I'm wrapping it up with Nothing to Find.
Why this song of all the songs to end your encore?
This is another one. This is a late night song when maybe you have. It's a song that makes me feel justified for whatever it is that I'm feeling, that is giving me that sense of empowerment. And it's nighttime. I'm looking at the moon. There's a full moon. Now the moon is on the rise. And the wind is blowing. Or maybe I am standing in the car with my whole body out of the sunroof.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing the like Breakfast Club
old school
fist
80s
in the air,
yeah.
And the wind is blowing while I'm driving in the night, just looking at the moon and driving away from whatever it was that was kind of giving me some guff or some grief, and I'm just feeling powerful and justified in my moment.
I love it. Great keyboards on this song as well. The whole band, from Dave to Robbie to Adam to Charlie to everybody.
And don't forget Anthony and John and Eliza. I didn't hear you say all of their names.
I know, and Adam says it's so great. Eliza Hardy Jones.
You may have said it. I just didn't hear it. Just didn't want you to leave
All right.
Anthony out.
Perfect. Let's let Nothing Defined take us out. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll be back. We're going to recap from the road. We'll take some road equipment with and take everybody along. If you're enjoying this, leave a rating or review or a comment or anything for us so that we know that you're enjoying listening to these. We have a blast doing them. So
apologies for my crying
Oh,
voice,
no, I know.
too.
That's all right.
I'm not going to want to listen to this one back.
You probably won't, but it's gonna be great. Till next time.
Thank you.